I love riding bikes in Italy. I've been here in Tuscany for the week with the Bike Connection, which is a mini trade show of sorts where bike brands and product brands and media and then random knuckleheads like myself who have snuck in talk about product that has just come out and then product that is yet to be released. In this video, I'm going to talk about things we can talk about. Northwave Extreme Pro 3, the top of the line road shoe from the Italian footwear maker, and the Pirelli P0 Race, updated version of the existing tubeless top end tire that the company claims is a whopping 24% faster in terms of lowered rolling resistance than the model it replaces. Take a second to hit that subscribe button and then we'll be back talking Italian products in the Italian countryside. Love the smell of new tires. Let's talk Pirelli tires. The P0 Race comes in a huge range from 26 up to 40. 40 mil road tire. 28 is the new 25s for both everyday riders like myself and for the World Tour riders, which Pirelli sponsors. It comes in 26, 28, 30, 32, 35, and 40 with claimed weights between 275 grams and 400 grams. One thing I like about the format of the Bike Connection here just outside Massa Marittima is the chance to meet the folks that make the stuff or design the stuff, and yes, some of the folks that market the stuff, but it's largely a lot of product folks like Valeria Omodeo Zarini, who I enjoyed not just talking tires with, but also getting out and riding said tires and bikes, you know, up and around the hillsides here in Tuscany. Not bad, Tuscany. Not bad. Valeria has been with Pirelli for 6 years. She was in the moto division for 4 and has been on bikes for a couple. She said Pirelli benchmarks its tires against Continental, which is interesting to hear stated so bluntly. A lot of tire companies may feel this way, but it's nice to hear people just say it straight out. Like, look, Continental does a great job, has done a great job, and the GP 5000 is the gold standard, so to speak, in terms of rolling resistance. But hold on, Valeria would say if she was standing here, it's not all about rolling resistance. You've got to factor in things like wet grip, puncture, protection, suppleness, and overall ride feel. And the P0 Race, Valeria and Pirelli claim, is better than Conti's GP 5000 in terms of puncture protection. Yes, you could make this tire faster, but then you would decrease the puncture resistance characteristic. So like all things on the bicycle, it's a balancing act. 24% reduction in rolling resistance is enormous from the outgoing model to the current model. That was made possible by a change from a bead-to-bead nylon layer that kept the air in, the airtight layer in the tubeless tire, to a rubber version that's not just regular butyl, but has aramid particles sprinkled in. Pirelli calls this the speed core layer. Pirelli has had and continues to have 3 suppliers, including Vittoria, its competitor, interestingly enough. With this tire, Vittoria has brought production in-house with its own factory in Italy. Interestingly, the tubed version of the tire is still a bit lighter, even when used with a TPU tube, that super light tube, than the tubeless version. So weight weenies out there may want to go with that tubed version with the TPU tube. Valeria says some of the World Tour pros will choose that setup in Grand Tours for like a mountaintop finish when weight is at a premium, or lack of weight is at a premium. But for the most part, the pro riders are on the tubeless all day, every day. So how does it feel to ride? Well, the blessing and the curse of events like this, the Bike Connection in Tuscany, is that you get to jump on a whole bunch of different bikes, a bunch of different gear. I'm on different shoes, different cleats. I'm upside down on jet lag, so it's very difficult to tease out what you are feeling. Something might feel great, like this Canyon Ultimate that I was riding with these tires. Things might feel sluggish, like the Ducati Futa e-bike that I was riding. Being able to sense a 24% rolling resistance, that would be absurd, of course, for me to claim I could tell a difference like this. However, do these tires feel good? Yes, absolutely. On these new super secret wheels that will be coming out in a month with a wide internal rim, 28 tires at like 70 PSI or a little bit under. Yeah, felt nice and supple on the sometimes less than perfect road that I was riding here in and around Massa Marittima. So yes, at first blush, over the course of a few rides here, tires feel great. Can I sense a 24% reduction? Of course not. However, I find it very endearing that a company would not only claim to have big improvements in a tire, but also the humility to say, hey, Conti is still better within that one particular characteristic of rolling resistance, but we're going to hedge our bets for the overall ride characteristics with a bit more puncture protection. So that is the Pirelli P0 race. Thank you, Valeria, for the opportunity to test it and to ride with you here in Tuscany. Shoes. We got the shoes. Extreme Pro 3. I don't know what the weight of these is. I neglected to ask. It's not online. Not the heaviest, not the lightest. Pretty comfy in almost all aspects except this portion here, just on the top of the inner, kind of dug into the foot a little bit. That lessened over the course of a few rides, but that was the only hot spot I felt. Otherwise, these are nice and comfy. They're wide, which is a good thing for me. Normally I'll wear a wide shoe like Shimano normal shoe. No go for me. Shimano wide is where it's at. So this, plenty of room in the toe box and at the, across the metatarsals. So I like that. Double dials, not BOAs, but Northwave's own SLW3, which allow micro adjust in two ways. Clockwise to tighten, and then when you press this little silver tab, that micro loosens, if you would, and then when you pull up on that silver tab, then you can pull the strings out. In my experience, the adjust in both ways works very well. The quick loosening, especially when the shoes and the laces are tight, would kind of bind up a bit, so that was like a two-hand thing. Talk about first world stretchy pants wearing problems. Just not quite the same experience as the BOA dials. Shoes got 3 vents on the bottom, tip, tail, in the middle, full carbon sole. Some of the folks I was riding with felt the sole was a little too stiff. To me, it feels great. Northwave folks pointed out, hey, a certain gentleman by the name of Filippo Ganna was wearing these for last season. Now he's on to the new, some shoes that are not yet released. So keep an eye on what that big man's riding for what will likely be Northwave's next top of the line road shoe. But in the meantime, the Northwave Extreme Pro 3 is the tippity top. The shoes come with 2 different insoles, each with metatarsal support built in, and then there's arch support built into the carbon outsole. Rode these on smooth roads, on some chunkier roads, and I didn't feel they were too stiff at all. You could chalk that up to being visually drunk on the beauty of riding here in Tuscany, or a company that's been making shoes for 30 years now. You can get these guys in Filippo Ganna white, you can get them in all black, and you can get them for $350, which ain't cheap, but strangely enough, in 2023 is by no means the most expensive road shoes out there. We're seeing models from Seedy and Specialized well north of $400 these days. So thanks to the team at the Bike Connection for making this speed dating of brands and test riding possible. And thanks as always to my sponsors, Castelli, Giro Helmets, and Feedback Sports for allowing me to do what I love, which is ride bikes and give you my honest, if sometimes half-baked feedback on them. Oh, the bits I rode in this batch of tests, the Canyon Ultimate, feels great, nice and light, a little on the stiffer side in a, like it's so light, you can almost feels hollow sort of way. That's not a very good way to describe the bike, but not as absorbing as say like the Willier model that I rode just before. Tires felt great. The wheels, I'll have to wait a month or so to tell you about. I can tell you about some other products in some other videos from here, from Tuscany. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of those. Thanks for watching and enjoy the ride.